primary interest, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume, is going to be connectivity options for this platform. So let's take a look at what Windows Phone 7 provides. The top Windows Phone 7 OS, you've got capability for HTTP request and response, as well as push notifications. And then this is the collection of Xbox Live features. Within Xbox Live, there's the ability to access avatars and to send and receive game invites. And then there's another group that we call Gamer Services. Gamer Services includes the ability to access a gamer's profile, to award and view achievements, to read and write from leaderboards, and to access trial mode functionality for your game. Now, before we move on, I want to call out that most of the Gamer Services APIs are available only to what we're calling Xbox Live enabled games. So, how do you write an Xbox Live enabled game? This means that you work with a Microsoft account manager. It means that you are a registered developer for the program. And it means that your title must meet some additional certification requirements around the use of live services. So Xbox Live is a managed service, and it provides a stable, secure environment for developers as well as users. And in order to maintain that integrity, we require a little bit more certification. So if you want to access those features, it means that you would enter into a deeper relationship with Microsoft. It's kind of like that classic comic book line, with great power comes great responsibility. Now, I don't want to scare you away. There are some extra steps involved, but if you start early, as with any certification requirement on any platform, start early, incorporate these into your design, and it will be much easier than trying to implement them at the last minute. So we're going to walk through these from the bottom up, starting with Gamer Services. We're going to look at features available, as well as go through a lot of code samples. And if you've written an Xbox Live Arcade game before in managed code, some of these APIs are going to look familiar to you. So first up is your profile. This is your identity in the cloud. Your Windows Phone 7 series device knows you by your Windows Live ID. Now, wait a minute, but I thought we were talking about Xbox Live. Well, we are. Your Xbox Live gamer tag is associated with a Windows Live ID, and your Zoom tag is also associated with a Windows Live ID. So there's one ID system that overarches all facets of your online identity within the Microsoft Entertainment ecosystem. You can think of it as just getting to pick different nicknames for different areas. So when you turn on your phone for the first time, it will ask you to create a new Windows Live ID or enter an existing one. And if you don't have a gamer tag, when you go to the Games Hub, it will ask you to create one there. And if you still wish to remain offline, then you can use the embedded me profile within the phone. So here's an example of some code to access a gamer's profile. And you may note that as we're looking at the code in these slides, I am showing you the synchronous versions of these APIs for readability. There are asynchronous versions. In this case, the get profile function. There's also a begin get profile and an end get profile version that will run asynchronously. So if you don't want to block or if you don't want to spin off your own thread, there are options on how to get this information. And I'm also showing you Major Nelson's gamer card because, frankly, I have GamerScore envy. So in this case, the first thing you need to do is get a signed-in gamer. On the console, there can be multiple people signed in at once, but on the phone, there's only ever one signed-in gamer. It's you, so it's always the 0 index element in the signed-in gamers array. From that gamer, you can pull out a string value that's the gamer tag, and you can call this get profile function that will retrieve additional data from Xbox Live. From the profile, you can extract the gamer score, and you can extract the gamer picture. It's a stream. Now, one thing that I want to mention is that profile and presence information on the phone is read-only. And the intent here is simply not to conflict with Xbox and games for Windows Live. They're the authoritative versions. And the reason there is just because if you're playing Gears of War, and that's what your console is telling everyone, you don't also want your phone telling people that you're playing Fuzzy Kid and Tea Party. So the Xbox and games for Windows Live are what's in charge. Windows Phone 7 series also supports awarding and reading achievements. People love their achievements. They encourage people to explore more of your game world and keep them coming back longer than they might in a game without achievements, especially if you're a pack rat like me and you feel compelled to get every last achievement in the title. Now, if you caught the Future of X Last, the talk at last month's Game Fest conference, you got a sneak preview of the new streamlined tool for configuring achievements. But basically, for your title, you define the number of achievements that you're interested in, up to 20 for a Windows Phone 7 series game, and the amount of gamer score that's associated with each one of those achievements, up to 200 total. You also define the artwork that's displayed, and several strings, the name of the achievement, the description, how to earn it. And these are real achievements. This is real gamer score. So when you log onto your Xbox, and you earn achievements on your phone, you're going to see these reflected in your profile. Now, we at Microsoft have a lot of best practices around how to use achievements to expand gameplay and help introduce new game mechanics. So please contact us, and we'll be more than happy to share this information with you. So using achievements is a dead simple API, as you'll see in the next slide, but it allows for a very deep game design concept. Windows Phone 7 series games also support leaderboards. Now, if you've played games like Geometry Wars 2, Bejeweled Blitz, and Trials HD, then you know how fun it is to compete against your friends. And these games integrate leaderboards into the gameplay itself, in some cases showing you how close you are to overtaking your friends as the game is progressing. So when you query a leaderboard using Windows Phone 7 series, you automatically get back the statistics for yourself and your friends. We're grouping this together for you and presenting it so that you can make use of it in new and interesting ways. Leaderboards on the phone are stored in time and score-based statistics, and additionally you can pivot those on a lifetime best or a recent best. They also use a predefined set of columns that will make more sense when we look at the code in the next slide. And you can also store a 4 kilobyte blob of data in every leaderboard entry. So that's really arbitrary data that you can start to think creatively about how you might use. You can also page up and down through the data. So if your friends list is large and you pull back more than you can comfortably view on a screen, there are functions to get more data that you can display later. Xbox Live enabled games are required to support a trial mode, but it's completely up to you as the developer what this means. So maybe you reserve additional modes of play for the paid versions, but in the trial mode you can give people a few free vehicles, a few free weapons, or let them advance to a certain level. It's completely up to you how you implement this. We've learned from Xbox Live Arcade that having a trial mode takes the risks out of purchases for the consumer. It makes people more willing to try new kinds of games, and it also increases the quality bar of titles in the marketplace, because if people can try before they buy, then they're not going to buy a game sight unseen. So that's up to the developer to make sure that the games are meeting a high quality bar, and that's a win for everybody. Today with avatars, that goes even further. We give you a customizable presence to project to the game community. It's a representation of who you are or who you want to be. So on the phone, you can access the avatar of any player whose gamer tag you know. Now, since this is just querying a web service, what you're going to get back is a pre-rendered image, either of a small gamer picture, the large gamer picture, or the full-body avatar. This is going to be a static pose. There's only one pose, but it will return for you the avatar of any gamer whose gamer tag that you know.